Bismillah, alhamdulillah, wa salatu wa salamu ala rasulullah wa ala alihi wa sallam. Tonight we're going to discuss about the commencement of Ramadan, and this is the chapter 4, which is our fourth session. The Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, made it clear to us that there is no other method to confirm the commencement of Ramadan except by sighting of the crescent moon or upon the completion of 30 days of the month of Sha'ban. If the crescent moon was not seen, this is what was reported by 9 of the companions, Allah be pleased with them, with similar wordings. These companions are Abdullah ibn Umar, Abu Huraira ibn Abbas, Hudayfa, Jabir, Aisha, Talq ibn Ali, Abu Bakr, Al-Bara ibn Azib, Allah be pleased with them. They reported that the Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, said, when you see the crescent moon, then fast, and when you see it, then break your fast. If it's obscured by clouds, then complete the period 30. So it's narrated by Al-Bukhari and Muslim. Another hadith, the Prophet ﷺ saying, the Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, also said, we are an illiterate nation. We neither write nor calculate fast after seeing it. And when you see it, break your fast. If it's obscured by clouds, then complete the period 30 days. Narrated by Al-Bukhari and Muslim. So both hadiths are very strong, authentic hadiths. Hence, if one upright Muslim cites, one upright means with one the legitimate one, good Muslim, cites the crescent moon, then it becomes an obligation on Muslims to fast. On the other hand, if none of the upright Muslims see the moon, then it is an obligation to complete the 30 days of the month of Sha'ban. This is applicable even when the moon is present but not seen. This is because Islamic law has made fasting restricted to the sighting of the crescent moon, not its presence. For this reason, the companions and their followers, the four Imams, Abu Hanifa, Malik, Shafi'i, Ahmed, and all of the scholars in three favored centuries have declared by consensus that it's not permissible to use astronomical calculations to confirm the commencement of month of Ramadan or any other month. Nor can these calculations be used to negate the testimony of those who cited the moon. Shaykh al-Islam ibn Taymiyyah said about the one who uses astronomical calculations for confirming and the commencement of the month of Ramadan, he is deviated from Islamic law and innovator in the religion and contradicting the intellect. Majmu' al-Fatawi, volume 25, page 132. What's required from one during the event of discrepancy is to return to the Sunnah of the Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, and the righteous Caliphs. Thus, we return to the Sunnah. We find it commanding to act upon the legal viewing of the crescent moon and prohibiting the use of astronomical calculations. The more correct opinion of the scholars, which is the opinion of the majority of the scholars, is that there is no significance to different locations when sighting the moon. Therefore, whenever it is confirmed that the moon has been sighted in a country and we share a portion of the night with them, even if it's a small portion, then we fast following them. So this is the conclusion and the hadith and the comments of the Sheikh with the cited comments from Ibn Taymiyyah, rahmatullah alayh, is telling us to observe the tradition of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam of moon sighting. So the Jumhur believes that up to now they believe that there is no regard for having a different views or sightings for the crescent moon, since we live on same planet and we view in one moon and there is only one east, and the east starts from the middle of the Pacific, somewhere around middle of the Pacific. Always the first crescent moon is always viewed from there, and it travels over us as well as the sun travels over us, as they following two different paths, but but facing both of them to the west, coming from east to the west. So that's how when the sun sets, we will be able to see moon setting if the moon is able to be sighted by naked eye. So since the Prophet ﷺ if it's obscured by cloud, complete. How about if it's not born, or if it's obscured from your city, and some other cities and some other Muslim countries, they have seen it already, and you get the news. So it seems like a majority of the ulama are for both, the following the other nations, other Muslims who cite it, as long they are credible Muslims, to be followed. That has the upper hand all the time. But the problem was the authorities, in different countries, since we have different borders, the Muslims, they have tendency that the departments that make the ruling, sometimes they don't consider the other countries, and that was the case for about a few decades. But Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala blessed with us with the technology, and we have now a situation, we call it nowadays a global village. It seems like we live in a same area, same neighborhood. So the information travel is faster than you travel to another neighborhood. So the information, something happened in this neighborhood, maybe can be heard or viewed by thousands of miles away, whereas someone who living in the same neighborhood, he doesn't have any clue what's going on. So we live in a condition and reality that's completely different from previous generations, how they live it. So if the crescent moon is not yet born, some ulama, they said, can be viewed by they can be viewed by binocular and telescopes, and that can be considered like by the sighting the crescent moon by naked eye. And that's something that some ulama, they favor, and there's among them is Sheikh Ibn Baz and Uthaymin and some other ulama from Muslim world and elsewhere in the West. But there is also some ulama who are encouraging us to stick to the tradition, to reaffirm tradition of the Prophet ﷺ. We also have the advantage of living in a global, village, since we have all these communications, the fast information exchange, the exchanging, the devices we have, and all kind of apps that we are using nowadays. So we are blessed with, the capabilities that the other people in the past, they didn't have. So we need to take advantage from this and share the information, and use the method of the Jumhur to fast and follow. If one Muslim sights the moon from somewhere around the world, and accept that as a the something that unified matla for the Muslims to accept. And the other thing is, if we communicate, and the people make those kind of decisions, in a place already, and they view they sight the crescent moon ahead of the on time, the days that they expect the moon will be, will be present to be sighted by naked eye, human naked eye. So if the Muslims do these kind of techniques and these kind of approach, I think it can be narrowed the gaps that we have, and these gaps always reappear when the Ramadan comes, unprepared, and it causes us the havoc and disagreements here and there. So the best way to avoid is the the method of the using the human naked eye, number one. And the other method is taking the opinion of the Jumhur of the Abdullah ibn Mas'ud and the other Sahaba, the not putting into consideration of what's called al-matali'. So that way, if somebody sees, sights the crescent moon in Malaysia, Indonesia, Australia, Solomon Island, Japan, we can follow them. The people in the Bangladesh and India and East Africa and the Middle East, like Saudi Arabia and Turkey and Europe and even Americas, can follow easily, since the crescent moon will get bigger and brighter. It's not going to change. It's not going to be smaller that some other people, they may not going to be able to see it, So they will be able to see it if they are not obscured by cloud or anything like that. So inshallah, since that it's something very easy to understand, the having those two things, Number one, it's having a unified, the matla, one matla opinion, and uh, the communicating with and following the other Muslims that who already have sighted the moon, crescent moon, for the sake of unity, and since there is no place on earth that cannot be viewed if the people ahead of you in the West, they already have sighted. It could be a possibility that some people, they may not able, as the astronomers, they say, they may not be able to see if they are close to the North Pole or South Pole. Maybe they may not see it, but since the other people in their region or ahead of them already have sighted, they can simply follow that, and inshallah, and that can be less headache. And also because of the ulama, regardless whether they are affiliated with our Muslim governments or they are independent bodies, they have the responsibility to make these kind of issues, to make something that's unifying us instead of dividing us every year, coming back, from fresh havoc and disagreements here and there. And inshallah, if we view it like that way, we can, inshallah, conclude some positive conclusions. The other thing I like to discuss with you is we only have one moon. So we need to keep in mind we only have one moon. The other one is geographical areas, are divided by criteria, by several websites I have viewed. One of them is called moonsighting.com or something like that. And the other one is called Crescent Watch. And there are other ones. So these brothers, they did very good job, mashallah. Some of them, they have the people they contact with and do the crescent moon sighting, and then they report to them, and then they say, brother so and so have sighted the crescent moon in city so and so. at that time, and they will have a brief information, but I think the in-depth, the data they will have with them, they presented, to them. So that's something very, easy to follow and to communicate, and their websites. And I really encourage all the ulama to just take idea how, these brothers, they coordinate these, the noble efforts that they are doing. They divided in a four stages, I should say, four stages. Some of them, stage one is visible with optical aid only, and this is not the moon is not born yet. It's not completely to be considered as something that it has a red color in the area that they expect in the moon to be viewed by optical aid. And that stage is not a stage that you can say, it's a Ramadan or Sha'ban, for example, first day of Ramadan or first day of Sha'ban. So there's another stage. Second stage is optical aid to find the moon. So it can aid you to pinpoint the location, and then if you drop it, maybe you can see it here and there, hazy, just not clear, enough to be see it, perfectly. And the third step is visible if perfect conditions. It's visible if the conditions are perfect. And the fourth is easily visible by naked eye. By naked human eye is visible if the person is, his eyes are normal, healthy, they will be able to see it. So the fourth step is where Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala wants us, and that's the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, what he told us to view and see. So if we step before that, as some of our scholars, contends, it's going to be, the consequences of fasting a day ahead, because it's not this time that you will be viewing, easily visible by naked eye, because it's a stage that, as we all know, the moon, as it travels, it rotates. So by it rotating, I don't know how many degrees and how fast it rotates, but it's giving you, the shape of the crescent to appear from small line, very narrow and small line that can be seen only optical aid. But if we wait next day, it's going to be at the right time that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala wanted us to use the moon as the hisab. So that's where we need to wait and be patient to make sure that we fasting the way Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala wants us to fast, and the way the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, they told us to do the crescent moon sighting. Inshallah, we concluding here tonight, and whatever that in my humble presentation I they made good, or I excelled, it's from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and his blessing. And whatever that I made some shortcomings, it's from me and shaitan. And assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.